Welcome, my fellow adventurers. I just finished Metavoidal, a brutal hack and slash action roguelike that, while brutally difficult at first, rewarded me for my patience, not just in a great gaming experience, but with a unique story, chaotic encounters, cool boss fights, and a build system that let me beat enemies to the sound of metal. And as always, guys, we set my dark passenger angers undercover. So, as always, let's adventure forward. In Metavoidal, you'll play as a drummer who auditions to become the metal band's next drummer, but sees through the facade of the evil and corrupted band, and now you must fight your way through places like the catacombs, the abandoned cemetery, and the church halls, and face corrupted fans, unspeakable horrors, and take on the evil band members one by one. Now let's talk combat. While Metal Voidal's combat is primarily hack and slash, it could sometimes feel like a touch of bullet hell. Of course, that is all dependent on your build. You have your standard strike attack and ranged attack. Your standard attacks can be customized with up to a 4-set combo, and each strike in the sequence can be rearranged in any order and even altered further. For your range attack, you have a limited supply. You can throw your drumsticks towards enemies. This is helpful for safely hitting things from a distance like explosive barrels or dangerous enemies. Additionally, the albums you pick will influence your melee and range attack. You have elements like lightning, fire, holy, and oil, which can imbue your attacks for additional effects. I'll dig into the meta progression system, but I just want to go over the game's game loop. Now, before every run, you'll open up a chest in front of you, which will give you a random fourth technique, completing your 4-hit combo. Then head over to the drum kits. This is where you'll be able to swap your drum techniques or change the sequence of your attacks. And at the entry of the dungeon, you'll grab a record from the dispenser and place it into the record player. There are a total of 4 albums in the game, each aligned with 4 elements that your drumsticks can be imbued with. Things like fire or lightning and even holy. Each album comes with their own passive buffs, and you can only have one melee and one range album at a time. For example, my favorite was the Angelic Artillery album, which imbued my attacks with holy effects, which gave me the passive buff of increased movement speed and drumstick regen. You'll make your way through the level, fighting off a variety of enemies like these flying skulls, spiders, and hordes of corrupted fans, all while looking for the next record dispenser. Metavoidal's runs are not as hindered as other roguelikes, where you'll clear one room, get a reward, and make your way to the next. Sometimes the break between rooms can impede the pace and immersion of the game. Instead, they opted for one dungeon-sized map. You'll clear rooms of enemies, find guitar chests, loot the corrupted, and sometimes even find these challenge rooms. But the goal of each level is to locate the record dispenser and place it into the record player for an additional track to your album. From here, you'll be able to select from one of 3 tracks and start optimizing your build. Additionally, there's a map which shows you which areas have not been explored, which helps for the speedier runs. In the levels, you can come across challenge rooms, which are these difficult rooms that can yield some cool loot. You can earn things like extra albums to things like extra trinkets. You can equip up to 2 trinkets at a time. Trinkets are extremely helpful. My favorite one was the one that gave me a shield that helped block attacks, or the bell, which rewarded me health temporarily for perfect dodges. As you delve deeper into the levels, you'll come across different scenarios, from the church location to the catacombs, all to reach the evil band members. Each of them a tough boss battle with their own trivial boss mechanics, but with each mini or main boss defeated, you'll be able to corrupt one of your attacks. Corrupting your attacks pretty much gives it an additional effect. These effects can be things like increasing the base damage and stagger to replenishing your dodge charges on kills. Metavoidal can be brutal and unforgiving, and to complete the game, you will need to defeat all band members in one run. Upon death, you'll be brought back to the Sanctuary, which is the game's hub. From here, you'll be able to visit Bing Bong Stand to unlock permanent upgrades to things like extra health, an increase to the number of drumsticks you can hold, and even an increase to the chances of challenge rooms in the levels, which you'll want. Challenge rooms are extremely helpful. Not only do they drop extra albums, but also have a chance to drop exposure points, which is the currency used to unlock permanent upgrades. Additionally, you'll find an exposure point when you find a note, Notes tell us what has been going on at the sanctuary. I am a whore for lore, so I've always enjoyed these things, and you can visit the library to read them all over again. In the hub, you'll also find a gig board which has different tasks. Completing them will permanently unlock things like drum techniques, new enemies, and unlock trinkets you could not find before. Then you have the bestiary, which shows the details on all the enemies you've come across, your sanctuary drug dealer, who showcases all the discovered trinkets, and the jukebox that shows you all the albums and tracks. Lastly, in the hub area, you can also see the projector, which will show you all the awesome game cutscenes. I do want to say that I really loved the cutscenes, and the art style and color use was really beautiful. As a comic book fan, I really enjoyed that part. Now, what else I enjoyed? There's a lot, and not many complaints, honestly. The combat at first is brutal, but if you stick with it, you'll have an incredible and rewarding gaming experience. I think what makes the game so hard is being unfamiliar with the enemies, but once you pick up on how they telegraph their attacks, it gets a whole lot easier. Additionally, at first, I was a little concerned with the lack of albums, and sometimes it got a little repetitive. I'm not going to lie, dying over and again, having a few selections of albums and tracks to choose from. But slowly, as I started to unlock new enemies, new trinkets, frankly, I just forgot about it, honestly. Anyway, my fellow adventurers, what did you guys think of the game? And if you enjoyed the video, don't forget to like or subscribe to keep up to date with our latest adventures. And as always, guys, keep your head up and adventure forward.